Mm-hmm.
And that guy in the opening scene is confirmed to be Slips.
Oh, the guy who did the thing
Yeah.
with the yes, I think I know what you're talking about. Oh, so sad. I need to go see that movie again before it runs out of theaters.
Yeah. So the guy that did the things to Finn's helmet was Slips.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you, dog.
All right. Well, I'm in the little southern village.
Oh, I am extending the thingy a little bit beyond that.
Yeah. I just wanted to see if I had anything good here. I mean, it's all like basic supplies.
But it's a lot of basic supplies.
It's not even like a lot. It's just like super basic stuff. Like I built my own little house, so that way the villagers weren't gonna like be offended or bug me if I slept in their house. And I mean, like I have a couple of like wood items. I have a couple of food items. I have a bed.
Ouch.
There's a farm, although it hasn't grown because we haven't been anywhere near it. Oh, that's a skeleton.
Well, that's like what I've been thinking. It's like the place that we are at the most is at the main base, which is where I think we should build the iron farm.
Because that's where we are the most, and so like we need to be within a chunk or whatever.
Of it actually making and producing stuff.
Right.
And I mean, it's like that's where I go to build the silos and stuff. So it's like when I'm doing, minute work and stuff, all the iron can spawn.
Mm-hmm.
But I was looking at schematics, and as much as I would like to do the Iron Titan, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And there are smaller farms that you can make that produces like a decent
like a good
amount.
Yeah.
And you don't have to worry about having so much space. And I'd rather have one that steals a small amount of iron instead of just oodles and oodles.
Yeah. Because like I don't want to like make the Iron Titan and then like not have anywhere to store all the iron that should be being picked up but aren't because there's just too much of it.
I mean, I can build a basically a silo farm for iron, which means that it would just get collected in a stopper, and then I mean, you'd be building so many hoppers by that point because you have so much iron, you don't need to really worry about it.
Yeah, totally.
Which means that you could build a really significantly large storage system for all that iron. And anything that you want to, you can always take the iron ingots and turn them into iron blocks, which stores 9 iron ingots.
Yeah.
Yeah. But first things first is we need to get our villagers or zombie villagers or whatever.
See, that to me is definitely like the hardest part. Like, like building stuff, like even if it takes us a while to gather the materials, it's gonna take us even longer to like find villagers and then like somehow turn them into zombies and then have the zombies follow us back to the spawner and then lock the zombies into place. Like that's so convoluted.
Well, I saw a few things where you could trap 2 villagers and then get them to spawn baby villagers.
Spawning for villagers has changed though in 1.9. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, because there was a way where you could spawn baby villagers and then transfer those villagers via minecart to the area that you want them to be in.
Right.
And as much as I want to keep this server a cheat-free server,
I've been so tempted to cheat in a villager egg.
I mean, it would just be so much easier just to say, give Zelbe, like 20 villager eggs, and you just use that to spawn villagers.
So giving, I found out, actually doesn't work that way anymore either in 1.9, which is such a pain because like It was already confusing enough before at times.
They changed the command list?
So the deal is, here, I took notes somewhere. Where did I? So it used to be /give, and then you would put the player name, and then for eggs you would do spawn_egg, then the amount of eggs you wanted, and then the ID for the egg.
Yeah, whatever egg it is.
Right, and it's not that anymore. I don't know what I did with my notes. I have sticky notes.
For a lot of the time, I used to just say, give, Mal, this type of, like, diamond or something, and, like, 64 stacks of it.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm looking for a specific item, I do game, or change, like, game mode to 0, which puts you in creative mode rather than, survival. So that way, all you have to do is
just open the
go
inventory.
into menu, and then take out what you want.
That is actually really clever. That's probably easier than doing the admin console and typing in give whatever.
Yeah, because whenever I try doing the ID thing, it usually gives me some weird wonky block that I'm typing in wrong. So I just say, change to game mode creative, collect the thing that I want.
Right.
And then change it back to survival. Also, in creative mode, you can enchant any item you want to without using any of your level.
Mm-hmm.
So you could totally enchant, like, all of your tools with unbreaking, efficiency 4, whatever, and not sweat how much, XP it takes. But that would be boring, because everyone can do that.
Yeah. Okay, so hang on a second here. Okay, so I have the Wikipedia page up. So villagers mate depending on the number of valid doors. Villagers will then mate until the number of adult villagers equals or is more than 35% of the number of doors. Any remaining children will grow up as usual, resulting in a total number of adult villagers somewhere above 1/3 the number of nearby wooden doors. The type of villager that the child is doesn't depend on what type the parents are. So a valid door is any door within the village radius where the number of outside spaces within 5 blocks in a straight line on one side of the door is not the same as the number of outside spaces within 5 blocks on the other side of the door. A space is considered outside if it has nothing but transparent blocks above it all the way to the sky. So like if you have a front door on the house, don't build anything within 5 blocks.
Which means we gotta be kind of careful whenever we build our farm.
Yeah.
Which it could just be like, 20 blocks away from the base and it should be fine.
Yeah. There's also, so villagers need to be willing in order to breed.
I know.
So villagers can become willing when the player trades with them. Willingness is granted for the first time a new offer is traded or at a 1 in 5 chance on subsequent trades. Green particles appear if the villager becomes willing by trading. This will not cause them immediately to seek out a mate, however. Villagers can also become willing after having 3 bread, 12 carrots, or 12 potatoes in 1 stack in their inventory. Any villager...
God, that sounds so weird.
Yeah, any villager with an excess of food will throw it to other villagers, allowing them to pick it up and obtain enough food to become willing. You can also throw bread, carrots, or potatoes at the villagers yourself to encourage breeding. Villagers will consume the required food upon becoming willing. So basically, you have to take them out to dinner first.
But then only to, you have to take them out to dinner and then say, all right, now that I've romanced you, will you date this other person for me and have babies with them?
It's just like, now kiss.
It's like taking 2 of your PC characters from another show and you're like, all right, now kiss.
Ship it.
Speaking of shipping, now that we've completely derailed that one topic of how to make...
Wait a second. I think they have mated. There are 3 villagers in this village now.
I thought there were always 3 villagers.
Oh, I thought there were only 2.
Like,
oh, no, you're totally right.
Butcher, the something.
Yeah, so there's a butcher, there's a toolsmith, and then there is another toolsmith.
Lame.
Yeah. There's no library in this village. I was really bummed.
We could try making them a library.
Yeah. I wonder if it's really worth the effort to, like, try and expand a tiny village, though.
I really only kept them around for trading, and that trading is going to take so long to get the emeralds needed to build what I want to build.
Yeah. I agree.
Oh god, this is so far away.
I'm trying to think what else we can talk about. Oh, so there were 2 other stories in the Star Wars book, and I can talk about them spoiler-free-ish. If there's an interest for that. Like,
Sorry, I
Rey...
was counting.
Okay. Would you be interested in hearing such a thing?
Sure.
So the story about Rey, doesn't have any of her, like, heritage or anything in it. It's a story about, this one time when she was, scavenging, and she found a whole ship. And she was like, oh man, this is awesome, Unkar Plutt's gonna, like, buy it from me for hella portions, and then I can actually, like, do other stuff. And then what ends up happening is she's like, well, I could give it to him in this condition, or I can fix it up with other parts that I scavenge, and then I could sell it to him for, like, 500% more, because it would be a working ship. And then she was like, you know, even though it's going to take a couple months for me to do that, let's do that. So she scavenges by day, and then she prepares the ship by night. And people start to notice that she's not always scavenging every day, because, like, she has to do some of the repairs during the day as well. And so there are these 2 characters, that are like, hey, so we've noticed that you aren't really, like, reporting into Unkar as much with salvages. And Rey is just, like, trying to downplay it, because, like, in her mind, like, the ship is hers. And she doesn't want anyone to know, because she doesn't want anyone else to claim the ship as theirs. And so what ends up happening is, she works on it for a couple more weeks, but then these 2 people find the ship, and they're like, hey, so how about we help you rebuild the ship, and then wherever you go, you just take us with you. We'll just be your crew. And then Rey was like, but I don't want to leave Jakku. I want to sell it for portions. And then they were like, oh, well then you take half the portions, and then we'll split the other half between the 2 of us. So you get 50% and we each get 25. And she was like, yeah, sure, okay. Because she was afraid that if she didn't cut them in on the deal, that they were going to go report her to Unkar anyway. And so it's one of those issues of, like, keeping your enemy closer.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like a shifty deal, but she also has not left this planet, so probably doesn't know how shifty people operate.
No, she was very much aware of how shifty people operate, because she's lived on Jakku since she was 5. And all there are at Nima Outpost are shifty people. But she has, like, this whole inner dialogue about, like, well, if I say no, they could try and steal my ship, or they could wreck it. But if I say yes, then there's, you know, these other things that are at risk. And so she ends up saying, yeah, we can do the 50-25-25 split. I'm fine with that. And so they get this ship in working order, and they find a new hyperdrive from another cruiser that's nearby. And, like, it's this whole big thing that she's able to fly the ship around. And so, like, in her mind, being able to, like, fly the ship around Nima Outpost and, like, show off to people that she, like, built this ship up from scratch, sort of, was, like, a big deal for her. It was a huge source of pride. But at the same time, she went to talk to Unkar Plutt about selling the ship. The 2 people stole the ship and then got off planet.
Yep, like shifty person do.
Yeah. And she was like, I can't even be mad. That's exactly what they told me that they wanted to do. Like I said, I had a ship. They were like, we want to go off planet. And like she